Xenoblade X Definitive Edition Switch 2 Edition has finally arrived, mouthful and all, and despite nearly a year of anticipation, not everyone is happy about it. Believe it or not, it being a $5 upgrade is the tip of the iceberg. It turns out that there's a couple of rough edges involved, and while that has caused a lot of frustration within the community, it's a bit more complicated of a topic than you may have heard. So how about we do a quick comparison of the Switch 1 version on Switch 1 versus the Switch 1 version on Switch 2 versus finally the... It's hard to say this sentence seriously. It's Nintendo's fault. Don't blame me. Let's start with the load times, since that'll be a breeze. Definitive Edition has always been pretty fast in that respect. The Switch 2 is natively faster than Switch 1 by a couple of seconds, and to no one's surprise, the new Switch 2 edition goes a little bit faster. It's pretty marginal, honestly, but hey, I'm glad to see that there's no drama for now. The biggest point in the Switch 2 edition's favor is obviously the frame rate. Switch 1 ran at an inconsistent 30 frames per second. Switch 2 improved it to a relatively stable 30 frames per second. And finally, the Switch 2 edition has gifted us our first Xenoblade game at 60 frames per second. I did notice a drop here and there in certain areas, but largely it is as delectable as it is surreal. So far so good, right? Well, things start to get a little iffy upon closer inspection. I am not an expert at tech analysis, so I'll be putting it in terms we can all understand. The visuals look smeared at times. It's probably too much anti-aliasing, where certain things at very certain angles look so smoothed out that it looks smidged instead. This becomes much more noticeable when playing in handheld mode. The characters get kind of blurry when zoomed away, but then as soon as you zoom in, their faces might look just a little bit off. In my very brief experience, this most often happened to Lyn for some reason, I don't know why. Although I do have to admit, what is way more bothersome to me is that the resolution is so much better that it makes the pop-in really hard to ignore. The pop-in has always been bad in Xenoblade X, but you would have hoped, you perhaps would have even assumed, that they would improve the draw distance as part of the overall graphical enhancements, but no, they did not. And that's why some people are very upset about this. If Nintendo is going to make us wait nearly a year for a Switch 2 patch and then charge us $5 for it, the least they could have done is make it an unquestionably better experience. Especially since this is Monolith Soft we're talking about. They are well regarded for their technological achievements, so if this is what we have now, then we have to assume that it was rushed. And what is the point of rushing it if the physical version isn't even out until April? You see, the more you think about it, the less sense this all makes. But this is where I have to put my foot down. This is where some of you are just gonna call me an apologist or a shill or whatever you want. Yes, the Switch 2 edition is clearly flawed. It 100% should have been free. But I'm still glad I bought it. I saw a lot of hate today from the hardcore Xenoblade fans, posting their screenshots, posting their clips, but now that I've played it myself, I feel like most of those posts are things that most people won't actually notice or care about. For example, I saw a few people making a big deal out of this fence, because apparently the Switch 2 edition makes these kind of objects and architecture look ugly or something. But I looked at it with the Switch 1 version, and then I looked at it with the Switch 2 version, and again, I'm no expert, but that's certainly a fence. I couldn't tell you the difference. If anything, it looks better now, to my eyes. And the few blemishes I did notice and showed off in this video were all extremely temporary. Like, there's a reason why most of those posts are just screenshots or videos where the characters are idle. In practice, when you're actually playing the game, it's barely even a factor. Now, to reiterate, I am not excusing these problems even if they do patch it. These problems shouldn't exist in the first place. As impatient as I've been regarding the Switch 2 patches, I would much rather wait than to see them release in this type of state. And that's why this situation is more nuanced than you might be inclined to believe. Are people wrong in shaming it? No, they are not. Are people wrong in buying it and enjoying it? No, they are not. Because even though my feelings are complicated, getting to play Xenoblade X at 60 frames per second and mostly better graphics is a very simple pleasure. I'll admit, I started a new save file trying to look for any blemishes, and eventually I forgot I was even recording footage because the experience is just that worth it. Or at least, it's worth it to me. It's your decision to decide for yourself. All I ask is that you let others decide for themselves too. But hey, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me yap about yet another Xenoblade X controversy. It always has one. It never ends. Every time it comes out, there's always something. I hope you're enjoying the Switch 2 edition, and if not, I hope there's a patch very soon, for all of our sakes. Until next time, bye bye.